Okay. So the earliest experience I could remember with mountain biking was when I first went down to the park with my dad, and we took the training wheels off and I rode around for the first time just by myself. And really it just grew from that. I went out to Woodhill the next week and I've been going there ever since for like 14 years, which has been pretty fun.
Wish I could save you.
On a scale, mountain biking is a pretty big part of my life. I've obviously been doing it for years now, and it got to a point where it was just part of what I do. But really the injury made me realize how much I loved mountain biking, just sitting at home looking at the bike. Sadly, it's kind of depressing at one point. So in August last year, I was diagnosed with osteochondritis dissecans, which is a really long name for a really stupid injury. It basically means that I did too much mountain biking without enough cross training. So I was left with a dent in my left femur, which lasted 6 to 8 months, and I've only just been able to get back into mountain biking. For the first few weeks, well, it really just turned into months. I just sat around and cleaned my bike. So like the months after I got the injury, my bike was like spotless. In terms of doing stuff for fun, I guess I just fell back on schoolwork and kind of hanging out with friends. So when I was competing at a national level, the best I ever got was first in 2016. Even to today, that's still the best result I've ever had at that sort of racing in New Zealand. Since then, in 2017, I came second in the nationals. So one place down is still pretty good, but I was disappointed that day because it was only by 2 seconds. So the differences between my mountain bike and road bike primarily is that with the road bike I use it for training at home on the wind trainer and also on the road. I also do lots of hill repeats. There's some really great hills around Auckland in the Waitaki areas and Mount Eden, Mount Albert and all those. On the mountain bike I generally use on the trail up north in Riverhead, Woodhill, those sorts of areas, in the pine forest. It's really good for all the technical stuff. Hill repeats are essentially just riding up a hill as hard as you can for a set number of iterations. So often I'll do sets of 10 up Mount Eden. That's usually quite hard because it's about 200 meters of elevation. Out at Woodhill I'll do hill repeats up just any gravel road I can find with a steep enough gradient. Often with hill repeats it's the gradient that counts rather than the duration. So in terms of getting back into where I was before the injury, I'm probably running at about 15% at the moment, especially in terms of my fitness. That's just gone like downhill ever since I stopped riding. However, in the rides I've done recently, my skill level's been pretty high. I've been surprised at how well I've been able to get back into the swing of things. It's just riding up the hills and being able to put out power out at Woodhill on the uphill trails especially, been quite challenging. So the recovery process was really time consuming just given the nature of the injury. So the 2 months after I was diagnosed with it, it was no riding, doing absolutely nothing on the bike. It was quite boring. The 2 months after that I was able to progress slowly into the base fitness in the gym, so doing strength work, core work, sit-ups, push-ups, all that sort of thing. And then after that I was able to progress more into riding slowly. There were occasions where the knee pain came back, but the general trend of it was positive, and I was able to move more and more intensely into stuff. Hopefully that trend carries into the future. So I guess where I'm trying to head now in the future is ultimately my A race this year will be North Island Champs. Obviously Oceanias and Nationals have been, and until my A race, until North Islands, I'm going to be working on the Auckland Secondary School Series. So there's a big race coming up this weekend. It's number 2 of the series, 2 of 5. There's some good competition there, but after that I'm moving on to the Enduro series in Rotorua, and there's a couple of other small races before my big race.